quick video here. I'm going to show you how to use Google Font in Figma using auto layout and all that good stuff. In this video specifically, I'm quickly showing you how to easily select a Google font, dropping it into Figma and using it. Now, I'm just going to add this video is part of a large video where we're creating and designing a yoga fitness studio website, and it's specifically and uniquely built for the Bootstrap framework and using Bootstrap 5.3. So make sure to check out the full video. I have it in the description below. All the media and assets, as well as the full design, is on the Figma community. So make sure to check it out. You can download it, you can duplicate it, you can use it, whatever you want with it. You can do it. It is up to you. So yeah, make sure to check it out. But in this video, we're going to look at font. So let's check it out. Okay, so now that we've created prototype 1, prototype 2, and we've played around with variations, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is creating a beautiful font stack. And creating fonts, or searching for fonts for that matter, is usually a tricky part. And it also comes with experience, so the more you do it, the better you get at it. Now, with that said, let's jump into it. I'm going to start with prototype design 1. I'm going to zoom in and we're going to start with this heading right here. Now, when it comes to fonts, it can be super overwhelming because there's so many to choose from. Where do you actually begin? Now, one thing I normally do, or what I like to do for that matter, is start with Google Fonts. If I don't get anything at Google Fonts, I move on to perhaps Creative Cloud or anything like that. So let's use Google Font in this example. I already found a font that I really like, and it is a font called Thredoka. And I found it by scrolling through, and the reason why I really like it is because of the rounded edges. I really feel like it's going to be great for this specific yoga design. So the good thing about Figma is Google Fonts is already baked into Figma itself, which makes it super easy to use the font itself. So we're going to take the first design prototype, we're going to take this heading, the first one, and we're going to change enter, and I'm just going to type in free, or FRE, and we're going to select Thredoka right there. Now, off the bat, this is way too thick for my liking, so I'm going to change this, and let's start with regular. No, that's too thin. Let's go with medium. And last but not least, I want to change the actual space between each letter. Just want to space that out a little bit, maybe to about that point. Let's look at our prototype. Yeah, that looks really good. Now I'm going to add an extra little feature. I'm going to take fitness always, this part right here, and we're going to remove the actual full, and I'm going to add a stroke to it. We're going to add a stroke of about 3. Now it's going to do it for all of it. And to get around this, we're just going to undo it, undo everything we did here. And we are going to cut this. We're going to hit back. I'm just going to change the actual spacing again. And once that's done, we are going to duplicate this guy, and we are going to paste fitness always. I'm going to take both of these. We're going to group it in together again. We're going to activate auto layout, and we're going to decrease the space between them. And with that done, we're going to take our second font, or our second text, and we're going to quickly apply our fill. So I'm going to change this to 3, and we're also going to change the color. I'm going to use a property that we already have from Bootstrap, and we're going to apply that. Let's have a look at how that looks like. Okay, we are super close. I just want to add a little bit more spacing to it, so perhaps about there. And when it does that, we need to change the fixed, and we just want to change it to hug. There we go. Okay, so that is another option, but there's too much space, so we just want to fine tune it just a tiny bit. So I'm just going to decrease this a tiny bit, and I'm going to select, I'm just going to change this frame 1 to heading, by the way. I'm going to select the auto layout. I'm just going to decrease the actual space between them, the gap, and I'm going to take yoga, and I'm just going to decrease the font on that one as well, just see how that looks like. So that is an option. Definitely going to give that as a variation, but I'm probably not going to lead with this one. Again, it's all about creativity, right? So with that done, we are going to undo this part. I'm just going to leave it at that size for now, and I'm going to decrease this font just a tiny bit, see if that makes it any better. Font and anything, any type of design, it's all about playing around until you get something that looks really good. Last thing, I'm just going to decrease this to about 2, and we're going to leave that for now. And I'm going to do and apply this font to our second design as well, but I'm going to keep it as is. So we're going to change this. We're going to call it Fredoka, and we're just going to change the bold to medium. And I want to see how that looks like. So we're just going to go to the next design. So a lot of space in between. Now we can separate it like we did with the other one, but we can also change the actual line height just to adjust the actual space between the wording or below or next to the wording or below below the wording. There we go. So let's see how that looks like. That looks pretty good. So let's apply the Fredoka to the rest of the headings. So I'm going to click on this one and we can detach this and we're going to change it and we're going to call Fredoka. We're going to search Fredoka and we're going to change our bold to medium. All right. And I like the color. The color should be fine. We're going to do the same for this one. And actually, to speed up time, I'm going to zoom out. We're going to select all of them at once. And we're going to make our change right off the bat. All right, so once everything is selected, we're going to detach it. We're going to change it to our new font. And we are just going to make it medium. Let's see how that looks like. So this looks really nice. I really like this font, the super rounded on the headings. I still like to use the other font than the other ones. And again, with anything, with any type of design, it is all about playing around until you get something that works really, really nice. So what does it take on this? Well, the take is play around with your fonts. Make sure to check out all the fonts. I use personally, by the way, I use ChatGPT and I ask it a bunch of questions and it will provide me some good fonts that can be used. So really a cool idea. Last but not least, I am going to take our second design. I found another font that I kind of like. Maybe it's going to look good, maybe not. And I'm going to zoom in on our third one. By the way, Figma we changed our 2 to 3, which is cool. And we're going to select this. And as I was typing in Fredoka, I found a font that it's a little controversial for sure, but I really like it. It definitely looks good. It's this one right here. And I'm just going to change this so it hugs. So we have it on one or two lines for that matter. And I'm just going to increase the space a little bit. And I am going to make it quite darker. And that is another example that you can give to the client. That might be hard to read, but again, that's completely up to the client. But that looks different. It looks good.